What if I told you that some of Hollywood's most masculine leading men have been living double lives for decades? That behind the cameras, away from the red carpets, they've been fighting a battle that could have destroyed everything they worked for? We're talking about A-list actors who married women they didn't love, signed contracts forcing them into silence, and even underwent conversion therapy just to hide who they really were. Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on 10 incredible stories of courage, heartbreak, and triumph. These are the men who risked it all to live their truth in an industry that could have crushed them for it. And trust me, the last name on this list will absolutely shock you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on the hottest updates from Hollywood Buzz. Wentworth Miller, The Prison Break. That changed everything. When Wentworth Miller burst onto screens as Michael Scofield in Prison Break, he became America's newest action hero. With piercing eyes and that brilliant mind, Miller embodied the perfect leading man. But while millions fell for his character, Wentworth was drowning in a performance that never ended. For years, Miller lived in constant fear. Every interview became a minefield, every appearance a careful dance around his truth. Then in 2013, when Russia passed anti-LGBTQ laws and invited him to a film festival, his response changed everything. Instead of a polite decline, Miller wrote a powerful coming-out letter that shocked the world. He declared his sexuality and refused to visit a country where people like him faced persecution. That moment didn't just free Miller. It inspired millions living in the shadows. Luke Evans, the Welsh dragon who never hid. Luke Evans carved out a reputation as one of cinema's most compelling leading men, from Dracula to Fast and Furious, Beauty and the Beast to The Hobbit. Audiences assumed this ruggedly handsome star was straight, but Luke never actually claimed to be. What makes Evans's story unique is his approach to authenticity. Unlike contemporaries who felt pressured to lie, Luke chose strategic silence. He never fabricated relationships or denied his truth. He focused on craft. When Hollywood agents warned that coming out could derail his career, he listened but refused to live a lie. Luke's journey reflects a changing industry. He proved that talent transcends labels, that audiences accept complex masculinity. His silence wasn't shame. It was self-preservation with dignity. His career flourished because of his unwavering commitment to being genuine in every role. Tom Hulce, the Mozart who found his voice. Tom Hulce gave one of cinema's most electrifying performances as Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart in Amadeus. His portrayal was so brilliant, it launched him into Hollywood's elite. But behind that infectious laugh was a man carrying a secret heavier than any award. Hulce lived through Hollywood's most unforgiving era for gay actors. While his talent was undeniable, the industry's homophobia was equally certain. For decades, he navigated exceptional performances while deflecting personal questions. Rumors swirled, tabloids speculated, but Tom protected his privacy. When he finally came out in 2008, it wasn't with fanfare, just a simple acknowledgement, like saying yes, and so what? By then, he'd transitioned to producing, winning Tony Awards, and championing diverse Broadway voices. His silence wasn't about shame, but survival in an industry that punished authenticity. Jonathan Bailey, The Bridgerton Revolution. Jonathan Bailey shattered expectations as Anthony Bridgerton on Netflix. Here was their newest heartthrob, sophisticated, passionate, devastatingly handsome, setting screens ablaze with steamy romantic scenes. American viewers couldn't get enough of this British gentleman who embodied romantic fantasy. But Jonathan's real story is even more compelling. Unlike previous generations who hid their sexuality for leading roles, Bailey chose differently. When insiders warned that openly gay actors couldn't convincingly play straight romantic leads, he proved them spectacularly wrong. His timing was perfect, arriving as audiences hungered for authentic representation. When Bridgerton became a phenomenon, Jonathan's openness about his sexuality enhanced rather than diminished his appeal. He demonstrated that talent and authenticity aren't mutually exclusive, opening doors for countless LGBTQ actors who no longer must choose between careers and truth. Elliot Page, the transformation that changed Hollywood. Few Hollywood stories are as powerful as Elliot Page's journey to authenticity. We first met him as Ellen Page in Juno, an Oscar-nominated performance that introduced incredible talent. Through X-Men, Inception, and countless projects, Page captivated audiences while battling an internal war most couldn't imagine. In 2014, his coming-out speech as a gay woman was deeply moving. But that wasn't the end, just the beginning. When Elliot came out as transgender in 2020, he didn't just change his life. He transformed Hollywood's approach to transgender representation. The courage to transition so publicly, risking everything he'd built, speaks to extraordinary strength. Elliot's honesty about living in the wrong body resonated with millions. His continued success in the Umbrella Academy proves authenticity creates rather than limits opportunities. He gave permission for countless others to find themselves. Colman Domingo, the quiet revolutionary. In an industry where gay black men face double discrimination, Colman Domingo built one of entertainment's most respected careers through sheer talent and unwavering authenticity. From Fear the Walking Dead to Euphoria, to his transformative Bayard Rustin portrayal, Domingo brings emotional depth from living truthfully. What sets Colman apart isn't just his incredible range, but his approach to being openly gay in Hollywood. He doesn't make speeches or issue statements. He simply lives his truth with quiet dignity. Married to designer Raul Domingo, he discusses his personal life with casual confidence. This normalcy is revolutionary. While LGBTQ stories often focus on trauma, Colman represents something equally important: the beauty of simply existing authentically. His presence in major productions proves inclusion isn't charity. It's recognizing exceptional talent wherever it exists. Ricky Martin, La Vida Loca, Behind the Mask. Ricky Martin didn't just dominate the late 90s, he defined it. When Livin' La Vida Loca exploded across American airwaves, Ricky became the ultimate Latin sex symbol, driving fans wild with explosive energy and undeniable charisma. But behind that magnetic smile was a man trapped in an image that felt like prison. For over a decade, Ricky lived as the fantasy millions had created. Every interview, appearance, and relationship rumor was carefully managed to maintain the irresistible ladies' man illusion. The pressure was crushing. Imagine being celebrated for something that feels like a lie. The 2010 moment when Ricky posted that simple but powerful letter on his website changed everything. No grand press conference, just raw honesty about being gay and ready to live authentically. Fans who loved the fantasy embraced the reality even more powerfully. His coming out began his most meaningful chapter as an LGBTQ advocate. Jim Parsons, the Big Bang of authenticity. For 12 seasons, Jim Parsons made America laugh as Sheldon Cooper, the brilliantly quirky physicist who couldn't understand social cues but somehow understood our hearts. The Big Bang Theory made Jim one of television's highest-paid actors, earning Emmy after Emmy while he navigated the complex relationship between public persona and private truth. What makes Jim's story fascinating is how he managed coming out with characteristic intelligence and grace. Unlike actors who faced career-ending ultimatums, Jim chose quiet authenticity. He never hid his sexuality, but never made it his public identity's centerpiece either. When Jim spoke openly about his relationship with partner Todd Spywak, the response was overwhelmingly positive. His success continued in dramatic roles like The Normal Heart, portraying a gay AIDS activist with devastating honesty. Jim proved audiences don't need narrow definitions of masculinity, just talent and genuineness. Zachary Quinto, From Heroes to Hope. Zachary Quinto captured our attention as the terrifying Sylar in Heroes, then won our hearts as the logical, emotionally complex Spock in the Star Trek reboot. With his intense gaze and commanding presence, Zachary embodied the kind of mysterious leading man that Hollywood has always celebrated. But beneath that cool exterior was a man grappling with his own mission, living authentically in an industry built on illusion. The turning point came in 2011, triggered by a heartbreaking tragedy. When teenager Jamie Rodemeyer took his own life after facing anti-gay bullying, Zachary couldn't stay silent anymore. His coming-out letter wasn't about personal convenience. It was about responsibility. He realized that young people needed visible role models, that his silence could cost lives. The response was immediate and powerful. Instead of limiting his career, Zachary's honesty expanded it. He took on projects across film, television, and theater that showcased his range while using his platform for advocacy. His willingness to speak truth in the wake of tragedy demonstrates the unique responsibility that comes with celebrity. Zachary didn't just come out. He stepped up, proving that authentic living often means using your voice to protect others who haven't found theirs yet. Neil Patrick Harris. How I Met Your Authentic Self. Neil Patrick Harris achieved something that seemed impossible in early 2000s Hollywood. He became more famous and beloved after coming out than before. From child star Doogie Howser to the legendary Barney Stinson in How I Met Your Mother, Neil built a career on characters that seemed to represent traditional masculinity, all while keeping his true self carefully guarded. What made Neil's 2006 coming out so revolutionary wasn't just the timing, it was the aftermath. In an era when gay actors were told they couldn't convincingly play straight characters, Neil was already proving that theory wrong every week on television. His portrayal of the womanizing Barney became even more impressive when audiences realized the skill it took to embody a character so different from his authentic self. Neil's relationship with partner David Burtka became one of Hollywood's most admired love stories, and his career exploded in new directions. From hosting major award shows to starring in Broadway productions, he became the entertainment industry's ultimate Renaissance man. His success sent a clear message to other actors. Authenticity doesn't limit your opportunities. It reveals your true range. Neil didn't just play a character who was legend, wait for it, dairy. He became legendary himself by choosing truth over fear. These 10 men didn't just change their own lives. They changed Hollywood forever. From Wentworth Miller's defiant letter to Neil Patrick Harris's joyful authenticity, from Elliot Page's brave transformation to Colman Domingo's quiet dignity, each story represents a victory not just for them, but for every person who's ever felt forced to hide their truth. What strikes me most about these journeys is that none of these actors lost their careers by coming out. They found them. They discovered that audiences were hungrier for authenticity than anyone had imagined, that talent transcends any label society tries to impose. Their courage paved the way for today's young actors who can be openly themselves from day one. The Hollywood of secrets and silence is dying, replaced by an industry that's slowly learning that diversity isn't just morally right, it's creatively essential. These men proved that the most revolutionary act in show business isn't playing a character, it's having the courage to be yourself.